the American people stand firm in the faith which has inspired this nation from the beginning. We believe that all men have a right to equal justice under law and equal opportunity to share in the common good. We believe that all men have the right to freedom of thought and expression. We believe that all men are created equal because they are created in the image of God. From this faith, we will not be moved.
Hello and welcome to the Freedom of Thought podcast. I'm your host, Paladino Joey, or Joey Awajan. Freedom of Thought is available on all of your favorite podcasting apps, and I thank each and every one of you once and always for downloading and listening to the show. It is a great pleasure to be back on board with you once again today. Yep, back in the quote-unquote studio again. Yep, we'll have some mobile episodes again. Maybe you like the regular studio, so to speak, episodes. Yes, it's studio with quotes, but it's my studio, so yeah, it's mine. Close enough, I guess. Basically like indoors with a regular microphone instead of the mobile device recording the shows, which is fun to do sometimes. It's fun to be outside, but a little on the chilly side. I was actually thinking of doing it today, but what the heck. Happy New Year, whether you celebrate it or not, so to speak. I mean, it's not like and obviously it's not one of those PC type of holidays. It's the absolute opposite where everybody's just Happy New Year, Happy New Year. Like 9 million people that never say Merry Christmas to anybody. Boy, oh boy, they got to go crazy about Happy New Year, Happy New Year. And the Philippines with their 9 million fireworks. It's just like, you guys, settle down. It's, you're flipping a calendar. I get it. And your whole clean slate and everything. Is your slate really that clean? Is it though? I mean, I don't know if it's really a clean slate. I don't really see it that way. So I think people overreact to the whole thing. But in some ways, it's like the history of the previous year that just passed and reflecting on it. That's okay. I kind of like that part. But it's more of everybody's like, 2026 is going to be awesome. And da-da-da-da. Is it though? Like, do we know? I guess. And you hope so and you want to have a positive attitude. So I get that to a point. But the obsession, the over-the-top celebrating, and then the absolutely psychotic partying does nothing for me. To a point of like, it's actually more annoying than good. So that's kind of how I look at that. Apologize if I'm annoying anybody who thinks it's so great. Well, Happy New Year to you then. Okay? There, I said it again. One thing that's not happy is the thought of Zoran Mamdani getting sworn in to be mayor of New York City. It's obviously a tragic mistake, a terrible, terrible mistake the voters of New York City have basically brought upon themselves. I don't know what the heck they're thinking. It's one of the stupidest, most, ignorant things of all time. Like, why are we going for socialism? And plus, basically somebody that hates the country. They play their little game like, oh, we're all Americans. Yeah, BS. Just like Ilhan Omar. Boy, is she an American. Not. She hates this country, so why does she act like she's representing us? I don't think she is. I think she's representing her own agenda. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of these people are doing right now. They're activists and they're looking for an agenda here, and it's not a good one. It's not a good one. At the end of the day, so again, reflecting on 2025, I finally, during the course of the year, at the beginning of the year, I was turned down once again for like moving up for a better position at the company I work at, and then eventually, the time finally came where the job came up again. I mean, because obviously the truth, the fact of the matter is, just don't burn bridges. It's just kind of the lesson learned. Don't burn bridges, because, yeah, like the lady said, the lady who was very nice to me, obviously that I was basically second place, and I heard that like 50 times basically over the course of the years, applying for like, just kind of a better position, more of a support staff rather than just working just like a regular worker, regardless if it was like a trainer position. You want something higher than that. Eventually, you got to move up. You're starting to plateau. You're getting frustrated, this and that. But she said that, yes, I mean, kind of like there's a pretty good chance there's another position. Like sometimes it's just timing. And there might be another position coming up very shortly. It ended up being a little bit while longer. It ended up being like about 7-8 months later. And yeah, interviewed by the same people and got hired. So it was actually the first time it was a repeat type of a deal where it was the same crew. But in some cases, it finally happened. So that was the positive side of things. Obviously, reflecting in 2023, getting that Operational Excellence Award, that was amazing. You're hoping that can lead to that next level of some kind. And it just, was on delay. 2024 was extremely quiet in the job interview world. In fact, I think it was just almost dead. Where 2025, it kind of came back to life again. And then finally, it finally took place and all of that. But, there's also a side where it's kind of like be careful what you wish for. You're chasing for a position. You're chasing a position. You really want to get there. And then, it might be a department you don't like all that much or that type of thing. Like it was a change of department. And I don't know. I mean, sometimes departments you go to are more dysfunctional than the department you're in. And or you just get the realization of how frustrating dealing with people can be the higher up you go and you become in more of a leadership role. Simple things like understanding like you're short-staffed and this and that, and you might end up working in the same area more often than you like the same spot, like you're scheduling people in different spots, and they bitch and moan, pardon my French. And it's like, we've told you like 50,000 times, it's Christmas season and there's less people around. Hello, and they still don't get it. So that's just one of the little aspects that can be frustrating as heck. Now, obviously, in the past, I'd had that experience before. It's just that this time it's like you're officially in the spot. You're not like filling in for somebody. So it is what it is. There's positives, there's negatives to everything. And sometimes it is kind of be careful what you wish for. And it's a little bit of, sometimes you get a little bit of interviewer's remorse, I guess you could say. And it's going to happen. And the fact of the matter is, try your best to kind of hang in there and try your best to hang in there and just don't give up now. You worked so hard to get to where you're at. Don't just give up and go right back where you were and be stuck in that plateau again that you were so stinking frustrated. And sometimes I have to remind myself that. And other people out there listening, they may be going through similar things, or have gone through similar things, or will go through similar things in the not too distant future. So that was kind of a, generally I'd say a positive thing that happened during the course of the year. It's just, there's frustrations that come with every position in this world, whether you're a technician, a quality technician, a supervisor, a coordinator, which is like the position right under the supervisor. That's pretty much what I am now, or that is what I am now, not pretty much. Whatever it is, the more responsibility you get, there can be more frustrations. It's not all, it's not all, fun all the time. It's not all hunky-dory. So there's that. There's obviously frustrations that can come with anything and everything. I guess that's what somebody said many years ago to me. That's why we call it work. He just kind of like, whew, like, yeah, it's not easy, no matter what it is. He was like, yeah, that's why we call it work. Yep, because unless you're in some kind of miracle job or whatever, and even being a play-by-play voice of the New York Islanders or the Utah Mammoth, which are flashing on the screen right now, it is what it is. And yes, there is a team called the Utah Mammoth, by the way, in case you're like, Utah Mammoth? What the heck? Is that a minor league team? No, it is an NHL franchise. They used to be the Arizona Coyotes. They moved to Utah a couple of years ago and officially got the name Mammoth back in the summer. So, yes, it's a cool name, similar to the Minnesota Wild in a lot of ways. Like the logo is similar to the Minnesota Wild design. I like it, but it is what it is. Sorry. But yeah, even being a play-by-play voice for that, you know how much studying you have to do? And if you're wrong, people are going to make fun of you and call you out. And who knows? Maybe the company won't bring you back next year. Maybe Diamond Sports or whatever the heck the company is just going to say we're going in a different direction. And then what? Oh man, then what do? You're just like, oh no. So there is that kind of thing. Even a fun job, or what appears to be a fun job, there's stress in that too, believe it or not. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Some people absolutely love their job. They just talk sports every day. But at the same time, again, you do have to do some research. You can't just get on behind a microphone and just yabber away. Like, man, the Vikings sucked last night. Oh, man, what happened? What happened to the Oregon Ducks or whatever? Or how about them Oregon Ducks? Whatever, I guess in their case. Not that I was rooting for them or anything, but yeah, there's that. Every job has a frustration to it, I suppose. So there is that. Or being governor of Minnesota. Oh, boy, it's so glamorous. Yeah, well, yeah, well, I think just about anybody listening to the show might make a better governor of Minnesota than the one we have, with all the nonsense we've gone through. So, yes, of course, this show is generally political. I would have to say it's a politically oriented, so to speak. But sometimes, again, like freedom of thought is freedom of thought, like reflecting on things, positives, negatives in everyday life, or, certain situations that can pop up in this world. Like, again, like suddenly falling asleep behind the wheel for like about a second and hitting a telephone pole or what do they call it? like an electric pole, whatever. And your car and you got hurt, the pole didn't. That kind of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, that kind of thing. Luckily not at a high speed, but things can change in a second in this world. It's unbelievable how things can change so quickly. It's absolutely nuts. Hulk Hogan was doing fine, and next thing you know, he's dead. Like that kind of stuff, like heart attack type of thing. So horribly sad. Obviously, God rest his soul. We lost him this past year. That was not a good thing at all. He was definitely a big loss in 2025, no doubt about that. We saw the death of Ozzy Osbourne, who, as weird as he is, I guess he was a Christian. I guess we'll see. Maybe he'll be up there someday. I hope so. I'm not completely sure. We also saw Dick Van Dyke turn 100. He's still with us. Holy cow! Congratulations, Dick Van Dyke. Even though his politics suck. Yes, his politics totally suck. But yeah, there's that. Obviously, Hulk Hogan was obviously one of the major sad ones. Malcolm Jamal Warner. Yep, there was one there. Diane Keaton. Obviously, some of these. Oh yeah, Gene Hackman. That was a really scary one. That was nasty. That was a nasty one. Yeah. Oh, you hate to hear about stuff like that. Whew. Yeah, those are some scary ones. But generally speaking, you had those. Hulk Hogan probably hit me the hardest, and a lot of other people as well. I mean, he was awesome. Obviously, again, going back into at least the 80s, well, mostly the 80s, into the 90s and such, and then became a big supporter for what a lot of us like to support here on Freedom of Thought. That'd be, I would say right of center. We like to be right where we're right of center here on Freedom of Thought, and we don't like cancel culture coming from the left all the time. And Hulk Hogan represented a lot of that, and definitely a big loss. Definitely, it was nice to see him at those Trump rallies, helping, just kind of helping Trump get elected as best he can, basically at the end of the day. So definitely a huge loss in that sense. Generally speaking, though, yes, we've seen some interesting stories come up locally here in the Twin Cities about, again, like more and more proof of fraud happening. Like daycares, they're just flat out empty, yet they're taking the money. People like Ilhan Omar going from, being kind of like an average middle-class adult to being a multi-zulti millionaire, like worth about $30 million. Clearly something isn't right. And it was in a very short span of time. And, up to $9 billion is just kind of like been used, is missing basically in the state of Minnesota. And then suddenly people like Ilhan Omar are worth double-digit $1 million. Like we're talking 8-figure range here. Let's see. Do you think that's a coincidence? I don't think it's a coincidence. I really don't. And it isn't just her, obviously. Other people are raking in the dough dishonestly. Even just like regular groups of people in a certain demographic. So, they're like they just got here like a year or 2 years ago, and they're driving brand new Lexus SUVs. What the hell is that? Seriously, does that not tell you something funny's going on? Some funny business is going on? It drives me crazy. Come to work your butt off, work 50, 60 hours a week. And these people, work, you're lucky if they show up to work. And when they do if they actually do anything when they're there. And they're driving brand new Lexus SUVs and like, yeah, screw you, this is my car, ha, I'm special, you're not, na, boo-boo. And it's about the attitude. Yeah, it is what it is. So, is it frustrating? Heck yes, it's frustrating. Heck yes, it's frustrating. And obviously you hear about that a bit on the Garage Logic show locally. It's one of the few local shows where, there's a little bit of a conservative mindset there. They're not Trump supporters, at least I know Joe Souchere is not, unfortunately. And, Trump is not the gospel. That's one thing we all have to remember to ourselves as well. We have to remind ourselves, Trump's not the gospel. Yes, he's probably the best we have right now in terms of, representing what we want when we vote, and dare we say MAGA conservative range. And there's nothing, and it's frustrating to all get out how the left basically comes in and just automatically MAGA. That means they're basically like we're mentally retarded. Like MAGA people are mentally retarded. All it means is make America great again. It doesn't mean white supremacy. It doesn't mean xenophobia. No, it means stop ripping us off. It means lower taxes, which is, again, part of stop ripping us off. It means, allowing oil companies to run rather than shutting down their Keystone pipeline or whatever, and then the price goes up to the moon. Where's the sense in that? All in the name of some global warming thing? Tell that to the weather like most of this winter so far. And then people just make fun of you like, oh, yeah, you're just going off of little weather patterns when this is fact that's been going on for hundreds to thousands of years that Earth is warming. Is it really, though? I really don't believe that. I think it is cycles. And I don't know, I have people sending lectures to me like how stupid I am, basically on YouTube or such. They're just writing how I have no idea what I'm talking about and I have no scientific proof to back what I'm saying, but they do, and oh my God, it could go on for hours. And then somebody comes in and says, and thank you, high five to that person. Yeah, well, and bleep you, middle finger to both of you guys. Double barrel. That's what I wanted to tell them, but that wouldn't be very classy or Christian of me, and I apologize for that. I'd like to say this is a Christian show, but I haven't really represented that all too great in the last couple comments I just made, so I apologize for that one. But 2025, generally a positive year, I'd have to say. Generally, Robert Redford also was a big loss as a name as well. I mean, these are just celebrities and such, but it's still notable. It's a part of conversation, so it's still very notable to say the least. Yep, we lost Post Pramstis as well. Not that I was a big fan of his, that's for darn sure. Rob Redford, yeah, he's a heck of an actor, that's for sure. Yeah. David Lynch, yeah. Yeah, hard to believe that. Yeah, Malcolm Jamal Warner, yeah, he was part of that, the Cosby Show. Wasn't he on Different Strokes as well? But yeah, Cosby Show for sure. Huh, I thought he was on, okay, I guess that's what that was. Gene Hackman, yeah, that was a scary story, to say the least. And I know I'm just repeating myself at this stage. Crazy. Did we lose? I'm going crazy. Did we lose Val Kilmer? I think we did, didn't we? Did Val Kilmer die? I think he did, huh? Yeah, he did. I forgot. That sucks. I forgot. That was way back on April 1st. I forgot about that. Oh, man. Yeah, that was a painful one. Yeah, because he was fun. And, of course, like the movie Willow, he was Matt Mardigan. Yep, if you remember that one. I forgot about that. Oh, man. Bridget Bardot. Claudia Cardinal. Yep, sorry. Just kind of looking at some of these again. Crazy. Yep. Well, it happens. Rob Reiner, obviously, again. People, unfortunately, that's just, yep. And obviously Charlie Kirk, that's the hugest one of all. That was really bad. Really awful. Awful, awful story that was, to say the least. I mean, he's just having a conversation with somebody, and the next thing you know, he gets shot in the throat right in front of everybody. Seriously, like, seriously. So, obviously, Charlie Kirk, I'd have to say, is about as noticeable as there is. Yep, Dick Cheney passed away, but he's about as New World Order as it gets. He's about as corrupt and evil as a Republican can be. Not a good Republican at all, or a good conservative. If he completely, he's for the New World Order, and he was basically part of that. So I don't feel good about Dick Cheney. Obviously, not rooting for anybody's death, but at the same time, no, not somebody I deify it in any way. Not that you should deify a person to begin with. Again, Charlie Kirk, obviously, is awful, awful thing that happened to him, and unacceptable to say the least. Like, how dare you have a different opinion, Charlie? Ooh, we're gonna shoot you now. It's like, wow, sick as blankety blank, to say the least. Yeah, I get upset thinking about some of that at the end of the day. So, with all of that said, oh yeah, Maya Love, she was the first U.S. Black Republican Congresswoman, died in 2025. Yep, unfortunate there, definitely, to say the least. So, with all that said, just yeah. I mean, reflecting on the year, like as I was saying, yeah, she was only 49. Man, that's really sad. It basically looks like she just passed away. I'm not sure what the reasoning was. So, yeah, you just, yeah, like you hate to hear about people dying young like that. She must have had, okay, here we go. In 2022, Love was diagnosed with glioblastoma, a fast-moving and aggressive form of brain cancer. Oh, man, I'm sorry. And was given just 10 to 15 months to live, which she did surpass. Yes, because she lived until 2025. I'm sorry. I really am. That's awful. I hate to hear stories like that. It's like, and you look at her picture, so healthy, lively, and then just, boom, fast-moving brain cancer. That is... you get tears in your eyes thinking about that kind of stuff. So sorry to hear that about Maya Love at the time. So that was on Paul's birthday that the article came out. So didn't hear about as much about that one at the time. But yeah, that's definitely a notable one right there. Definitely notable. With all of that said, though, just again, thank you so much for listening to the show. Please tell your friends about freedom of thought. This show could definitely use some love. Sometimes I probably hide it a little too much because I don't want the wrong people to find it and give me a hell of a time. That's always one thing, because politics are politics. Like, like you go to a place like that nasty, like go to a casino, which obviously we didn't gamble a penny, which is great, but it's just, for some reason, my wife likes to go there for just to be in the atmosphere, like, of tons of people, for the, the count, for basically, like, for the whole New Year's Eve thing and into the countdown and everything. I don't understand the appeal of all that at all. But I mean, again, just imagine going in that nasty environment wearing a MAGA hat. You'd probably get, especially in this place, especially in the state of Minnesota and all of that, and on an Indian reservation. Who knows how they're going to respond to that, even though there's a Native American reservation, Indian reservation. Who knows? I mean, a number of Indian/Native Americans are conservative, so it doesn't. But a lot of them are not, also, which is unfortunate. But who knows what kind of crap you would get going there? So that's partially why I tend to hide. Sometimes I tend to hide this show a little bit from getting out at work or something like that, because you just never know how people are going to react and treat me and treat you if you do a show like a political show, and you lean right in the state of Minnesota. It's not easy at the end of the day. But if you could tell your friends, about the show, if they might be interested in listening and such, and maybe they're in the middle somewhere, and maybe they, would like to listen to these opinions, and who knows, maybe they'll like what they're hearing. So with all of that said, thank you so much for listening to Freedom of Thought. God bless you. Have yourself a happy new year. There's a link in the show description if you'd like to donate. Obviously 1,000% optional. Not many people donate, and that's because they're not, you're not obliged to donate anything. But if you'd like to, thank you so much. If not, again, it's your option. It's your choice. Nobody's demanding anything from anybody here. Eventually I probably need to replace this banged up microphone. It looks great, but it still runs great, but I could use some help. The laptop's been suffering with, I think, some kind of virus that I don't know how to get rid of. So it might need to be replaced fairly soon. It's a few years old now. So it's like a 5-year-old laptop. It's getting up there a little bit in the laptop world. So we'll have to wait and see. It seems like yesterday I got the baby. I love this laptop, but it's seen better days. That's all. So eventually I might need a little help, obviously, to keep the shows going here. With that said, thank you so much for listening. God bless you. Positive rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify if you could. Otherwise, God bless you. Happy New Year, and God bless America.